Good morning, everyone, and hello. Just wanted to let you know that I'm very excited that Gordon's coming to you guys today and doing this. It's a big step for Gordon and a big step for us. So just to remind you all that this is a beta testing, so we're testing the new program. Gordon's been working hard on it, and this is what we're going to be looking at when we go to start our live streaming sessions. So the idea behind it is we're going to be offering, obviously we can't offer face-to-face now, which we rarely miss, but we can be offering you live streaming lessons. Okay, we're going to have two types of live streaming. I'm guessing, Gordon, we're going to have some touching base and catching up and tips and tricks and hints ones. Those are going to be our free offerings. And then we're going to be offering our modules online as paid for courses going forward. Gordon's testing out module 4 today. Sorry, I had to use my brain. Module B will be released, 1B will be released next week. 1A is available, so it's quite exciting times. But I just want to thank you all for making the time to get here, and for Jackie and Rebecca for making the effort to help out. We appreciate that. Thanks, Jackie. And we will we'll hand over to Gordon now.
Cool. All right, we've got 2 minutes until 10 o'clock, but do you think everybody is here that is going to be here?
Yeah. We can wait 2 minutes and chat to everyone and see what everyone's been up to and how they're coping, or we can start. It's up to you.
Okay. Let's give it the sort of 2 minutes. Some people come in last minute. Shona, you don't see anybody waiting in the waiting room, do you?
There's one now, so as they come in, I'm accepting them.
Okay. Good.
But they're still coming in, Gords.
Okay. Gianluca, have you been onto Arcade yet?
Actually, I've never been on it, but I only when I was supposed to write the I can attend. That's the only first time I've ever been.
That's the first time you've been on it. And was that little video clear? Were you able to get your little sprite and move it?
Yeah, I did.
If you guys are not understanding things and you're saying, Gordon, your dogs are barking too loud, or I really don't understand your teaching methods, then you need to drop me a little WhatsApp, because all that information is useful to me to show how we can get around this pandemic. I'm tired of letting this pandemic win. I want to move on and get you guys learning some code. So if you want to beat this COVID thing with me and say we're not going to lie down anymore and do nothing, we're going to carry on learning, then you've got to help me with some suggestions as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Arabile, have you got a laptop or a tablet?
Laptop.
You've got a laptop.
Yes.
Good.
HP.
That's good. Is it the one from school?
No.
Your own?
It's not the one from school.
Not the one from school.
No.
Okay. And while we're waiting here,
Yes.
where are all the Midrand Montessori kids, Arabile? Can you send them a WhatsApp and say they must come to these lessons?
Okay, Zik's in.
Yeah.
Zik's in. I'm not sure. Eli said he's not coming to the call. He said he's going somewhere. And
Okay.
Leroy, let me add him. Leroy.
Good. And Gianluca, the same with you. Have you got Jaden's number and all those guys?
I do. I do have Yardley's and Jaden's. I've asked Yardley, but he's busy with something else in the holidays, so he doesn't want to join. But I haven't asked Jaden. I will ask him after the lesson.
Okay, good. Well, we just need to keep letting people know who might not know what's going on. and we need to let them know that it's going to be a lot of fun as well, what they're missing out on.
Gordon?
Okay. Yes, hello.
Leroy's not in the call yet because he needs the code. Once he has the code and the password, he can join the call. But then without the code and the password, he can't.
Is he on the WhatsApp group? Because the code is on the WhatsApp group.
Which WhatsApp?
There is a WhatsApp group that you're on. That we all need to get you on the WhatsApp group.
I don't have a WhatsApp group. I don't have
Okay,
WhatsApp.
all right. So we'll add you to the WhatsApp group, and then you must send the link.
Okay.
Okay, but let's start.
Okay. Wait, Zinco.
Okay, guys, I think everybody who's going to be coming is going to be here. I hope you can all hear me and you can all see me. At the moment, are you all seeing my little screen on the arcade webpage? Is
Yes.
that right? Okay. All right, so I need to show you how to get into arcade, just for the people that don't know how to get in. Many of you have already got in because you created your little sprite. But for those of you that have come in from an email link, I need to show you how to get into arcade. So a good way to get into arcade is to open up a new browser. And if you type in makecode.com, makecode.com, you will land on the web page that shows you quite a few platforms that you might already know. You all know this one, the microbit, but you're going to be coming down to this arcade one here and clicking arcade. Okay. Did everybody get that? Does everybody understand how to come to make code and then click onto arcade? Is everybody okay with that?
I'm good.
Good. Are you there, Arabile?
Yes, I'm here.
You're in arcade, hey? Okay. Everybody's in.
I can't get in.
Who's that?
It's Dear.
Dear? Let's help you again.
If I want to get in, I have to leave the meeting.
All right, so that's what I need to show you then, okay? So you can switch tabs by using Alt-Tab, okay? So let me show you. This is my presentation screen. So I'm going to be showing you all sorts of things here, how to do something, but you are going to be building it in your own screen. So if you hold down Alt-Tab, you can then go to another screen. You can go to your a browser, and then you can type in something. And then when you need to come back to my presentation screen, you hold Alt-Tab, and you can click to another screen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
For those people that can't get on to the website, if you go look in the chat, there is a link to Arcade there.
Yeah.
I don't have the chat.
Okay.
Okay, we'll check that.
You get to the chat by coming to your little toolbar, and there should be a little orange block with 3 dots in it.
Where?
And if you click that, you can get into the chat. So are you there?
Wait, I don't see. Which 3 dots? I'm going to make code now. Make code.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2.
So
I'm
are you there, Arabile?
Yep, I'm here. I'm there already.
Okay.
I'm just getting in.
Okay, guys. Once everybody is on this MakeCode Arcade page,
I'm on arcade page.
are you there? And then
Yes,
did you
I'm there.
click
I'm there.
Arcade?
I'm there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I clicked arcade,
Okay.
but it's loading.
So once you land on this page where you see
Yes,
microbits, you need to click on the arcade, hey?
Yes, I clicked on the arcade. Wait,
And you get this
yes.
one. Great. All right. So once we're all there, I'd like you all to click New Project.
Okay.
And Microsoft is trying to get us into some good habits. So it's asking us to now give our project a name before we do anything else. So let's give the project a name, which will be, let's call it First Game, or you can call it whatever you want. But
How do you get into the chat?
First game. Chat.
into the chat. Okay, Arabila, you need to go to your Zoom session and get into chat.
Yeah, okay, let me see the chat. Okay, I see the chat.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, can you see the chat and can you see the link, Arabile?
Which link? I see somebody said hi. I see somebody said morning. I see somebody said good morning name. See somebody said good morning kid engineers.
That's fine. Now come down to this chat that says arcade.makecode.com.
No, I'm on Zoom right now.
Oh. Scott, can you help out here?
Should I go to make code?
Yes, go to MakeCode.
Yes, I'm in make code.
And then in MakeCode, you need to click on this little purple block that says Arcade.
Arcade. Yes, I clicked it. I'm in arcade.
Good. Okay, so now you just need to go back to my session where you can see me.
Session.
Okay. And let's see if we can start. All right. Okay, so this is my presentation page. It really just helps me present things to you where I can draw arrows and I can show you what's going on. You are going to be continuing in MakeCode Arcade and trying to copy what I do and understand what I'm saying. All right. So I'm just going to wait. Let's just check the internet here.
Let's go into a new project.
Open up new project, yes.
Thank you.
Then give it a name.
First game.
Okay. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
What have I
but
got there, Tennis?
It's a ducky and a shark.
A duck and a shark.
Yeah.
And as you can see, when the shark touches the duck, it's game over. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And can you see that the shark is actually following my duck?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I
Okay.
can see that.
And
But he's swimming backwards.
I've got a little structure there. Yeah, he is going backwards at the moment. He's like teasing the shark. But as I move my duck around, I can even try and trap the shark there. There the shark is trapped. And then as I move up, the shark is going to try and follow the duck a bit. And he's coming. Whoa, I better get going. Okay, so we are going to try and understand how we can understand the principles and the coding to get just this little simple game going. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, I see
All right.
that.
So what I'd like you to do is the first thing we need to try and do is create our sprite. And we all know that a sprite is a character in computer science that we interact with. And it's made up of many little pixels or many little LEDs, but it moves and it starts to interact with us. So what I'd like you all to do is, if we are at this page, I'd like you to come to this first block here in our block code called sprites. Okay, and I want you to click on there. And the first thing we see in sprites is a big red block under create, and it says set my sprites to. Click on that, hold it, and drop it under start.
Done.
Okay, we're not seeing anything yet because we've set a sprite, but we actually haven't designed a sprite yet. So that's what I want to show you next, is how to design the sprite. Many of you did do it in my little teaser video, but we're going to be coming to this gray block here. Okay, and in this gray block, we are going to be opening it. And this is called the Sprite Pixel Editor. Can you guys remember that?
Yeah.
The Sprite Pixel Editor. A pixel is a tiny little dot of luminous light. You're looking at pixels now on your screens. You've got pixels on your phone, and we can put the pixel in. But here we have this little editor, and you can create your own sprites here. So if you click this little draw tool, and you click a color, whoa, that's a very big pen. I'm going to change the size of my pen. I can actually draw my own little sprite. Do you see that?
Yes.
Then I can fill him in with color. Here's a fill in tool. I can fill him in with color. And I can start to add some definition, and I can develop the sprite and make it as complicated as I like. When I'm finished developing him, I'm going to come down to the bottom right-hand corner, and I'm going to push done. Then the little sprite that I've created is going to appear in my screen. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Gianluca, could you please tell me why the sprite I created in my screen has a black background and the sprite I see on my screen doesn't have a black background?
Because the screen has a black background which covers the dark color surrounding the smiley face, the sprite.
Brilliant. Well done. Okay, so just bear that in mind, guys. If you're going to create a sprite with lots of colors in it, and many of those colors are red, and then you come here and you go to the scene, and there is a set background color. Do you see there's a set background color?
Yes.
We click that set background color and we put it in, and we change it to red. There it is. Now I can see my black surrounding. But if I change my background color to yellow, I'm going to have a very strange looking sprite. Okay, because the inside of him is yellow. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So just be aware. What do we call it in nature when something has a color and it's on the same color as something else with the same color and you can't see it?
Camouflaging.
Who's that? Andrina, well done. Camouflage, yeah. So be careful you don't camouflage your sprite. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you must at least see it and choose the right background.
So you can at least see it. I want to mention this to you guys now because I know you guys are going to go and play with sprites and make fantastic sprites with lots of colors. And then you're not going to remember that as your sprite goes through the game, it's going to swim into a different background, okay? And then all of a sudden you say, what's happened to my sprite? It looks different. Of course it's going to look different because you've got camouflage happening in that background. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we've discovered how to set a background color. Did everybody see where I found that? It is in a block called Scene.
Scene.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so as we start to learn these blocks, it's like learning a language. You've learned another word, and now you know how to use that word. Okay, so we've found the scene, and we have set my sprite. Okay, let's just go back to this pixel editor. There are a couple of things. There are a couple of useful tools in this pixel editor that I need to show you. This is the eraser tool. If I click the eraser tool, I can erase one block by one block, or I can make it bigger, and that erases bigger, or I can make it very big, and that will erase very big. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
There is a circle tool or a rectangle tool, and look how that works. If I go back to a small pen,
put on shape.
and I put it on a shape, and I drag it out, I can make a shape already.
It's like PowerPoint where you get shapes and put it on a blank piece of paper.
Excellent. Then there's a paint tool. If I click paint and I select my color, I can fill in something quite quickly. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. Something useful is this marquee tool. Sometimes you design your sprite and you realize that you're a couple of blocks short. Okay. You click on the marquee tool, and if you drag it and you cover your whole, whoa, let's try that again. Oh, let's change my, here's something useful. Here is an undo button. Can you see an undo button?
Yes.
That's very good in case you make a mistake. You don't have to start all over. But you click on the marquee tool. Let's start on this side. And let's draw a dotted line around my sprite. I can now move the whole sprite up or down. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like a little bit more space around my sprite. Okay. Let's say that I would like a little bit more space around the sprite. I want you to have a look at this sizing. Can you see this sizing here? Over here in this corner. Can you see it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me just point to it down here. That is going to change the size of your sprite canvas. So I want a little bit more. So I'm going to make it 20 by 20, and I'm going to lock it down. Can you see what's happened?
The pictures become big. Yeah.
I've got a little bit more room on my sprite. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And now I can actually take my sprite and I can put it in the middle if I wanted to.
Mm.
Do you guys understand that?
Yes.
But if I put done, then there is my new sprite. Okay. There's something I want to show you that when we make another sprite, when we make an enemy sprite or a second player, and we want that sprite to be bigger than the other one, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make a bigger sprite in comparison to your smaller sprite. But I'm going to do that in a second. Right now, I would like us, let me just make my sprite nice again. Let's just give him a smile. And I want to delete this little block here. I don't know why that's there. Okay. Have I made the changes? There he is. I would like to now start moving my sprite. So the next block in your block code editor or your block code library, this section here is called your block code library. And everything that we need to know or that we're going to be going through is in the block code library. But come to the top one, the one that says controller, and we're going to use the move my sprite. So click on the move my sprite, and let's drop it in there. Okay, now we can see that we can actually move the sprite on the simulator. Does everybody know what the simulator is? This area here.
Yes, it's the screen where
That's
your
right.
where your sprite is.
Correct. Your console simulator. Okay. So now that we've put a control in, move my sprite with buttons, we can now start moving our sprite around. Okay, and on the WhatsApp group, I asked you guys to put it in the top right-hand corner. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was a test to see if you could actually move your sprite. Okay. Let's actually learn how to name our sprites. So here we've got the sprite moving, and this sprite is a variable, and we just need to name this variable. So on this drop down, on this little drop down button here, you'll see a little arrow that dropped down. It says rename variable. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to call my sprite Gordon. Okay. And now you'll see that my sprite is called Gordon. The little yellow guy is called Gordon. Are you all managing to keep up?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've done everything so far. There you go.
Okay. And Gordon is a player. Okay. Am I going to be a projectile? Not right now, I'm not. Am I going to be food? Not right now. Am I going to be my own enemy? No. Right now, I'm just going to be a player, and that's me, and I'm going to be moving him around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's working.
Have a look here that when I use this code, move my sprite, okay, I must make sure that the variable says Gordon. Okay. All right, so now we're moving our sprite around, and we're quite happy with the fact that we can move him wherever we want to go. I would like my sprite to say something. Okay, so I'm not gonna have a duck floating around with a shark chasing me. I want my sprite to say something. So I'm going to come down here to the sprites column, and not under create, not under physics.
It's effects.
I'm going to use it. Thank you very much. It's effects. And I'm going to click on effects, and it says my sprite say. Okay. At the moment, you'll see an error. Can you see that little error sign there?
I know, it just happened.
Okay, why do you think that's happened?
Because he hasn't said anything, so it's not going to work.
It's not set on your name. It's on the wrong name.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. Have a look. I could type anything in here. I'm going to say, virus. Okay. He's still not saying anything. There's still an error. But if I come and I click here, and I get the variable to agree, okay, there, now my sprite says, virus. Do you see that?
Yes.
Are you all managing to keep up? What do we use in punctuation when we want to make something sound all like dramatic and
Two exclamation marks.
Yeah.
An exclamation mark.
It's like speech mark. It's a speech mark.
A speech mark, but if you have a look at it's already. So I'm gonna put a little exclamation mark there. Virus. Okay. So we've set a background color. we've set a sprite called your name, and you've developed your sprite a bit.
Excuse me?
Started to move your sprite with buttons, and now we've said another virus is going to be saying something. Do you all see that?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Okay, who's needing help?
Excuse me? Where do you find the say virus that?
Good question. Let me show you again. You're going to come to your sprites block. Can you see that? Open that. And then it's not under create or physics. If you scroll down, you'll see effects. Can you see effects?
Yes.
And if you look in effects, then you'll say, my sprite say.
Okay, thank you.
Have you got it? Excellent. That's another little word you've learned in your language. Okay. Virus. So I'm going to give you guys some time to make your sprites a bit better. I've got some black hair, so I'm going to give myself some black hair there. All right. You can develop your sprites by yourself.
Gordon, why don't we give them a timer of, say, 1 minute to do it, and we put the timer on.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to go and do some more work on your sprites. Develop the actual sprites a little bit. I think I've really messed mine up. Mine looks like some black paint has spilt on my head and is now pouring down. So I need to do some development there.
Not a hardy-dar has flown over, hey?
Or it could have been a low-flying duck or a hardy-dar. There we go, that's looking a little bit better. I haven't, as you can see, my hair is a little bit funny because we're not allowed to go to hairdressers. But there's my hair and I'm developing it. And I've come up with a message. Okay. How do I change this timer?
Plus or minus at the top. We switched it on.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. That's why I need the help.
Sorry, Gordon.
Yes.
So I've set up most of my stuff. I just can't get the part where if the or whatever character gets touched by the enemy character, it turns game over.
Okay, Gregory, you and Christopher are already quite advanced and quite ahead, so we're going to be getting there. We're going to be getting there shortly. We've got some kids that are seeing arcade for the first time today, so we just got to learn together for a bit, and then we're going to decide how we separate them. Does that make sense?
As far as I know, if you just say on the enemy touches the sprite, you go to, I think it's info and just game over.
We're going to get there slowly. We're going to just thanks for reminding me about that, but we are going to get there with everybody going in touch. This is also a learning opportunity for me, guys, to see if we can do this, by streaming. We want to do it by streaming, but it's different to your Google Classroom because this is quite interactive, isn't it? You're not just looking at a worksheet that a teacher has posted there. You be talking back and forth and you're watching me and then you're going to try something on your own. So we definitely want to beat this virus. We're not going to let this coronavirus keep us bored and beat us. We want to carry on learning now. So let's also just help each other through this. I'm learning as well here. So, okay, you can come back and develop your sprites in your own time. What we are now going to do is we are going to introduce a second sprite. So we're going to come up to your sprites block code library. Okay. And we are going to say, set my sprite. It could say, whoops, sorry. Let's leave that there. No. if you put something in the wrong place, like I've just done, and you hold the control key and you touch the code you want to move, it will move just that bit of code. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's very helpful.
So now we are going to be making another sprite. Okay, let's give him a name immediately. So my sprite said, virus. So I'm going to call this sprite COVID-19. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to call the second sprite COVID-19. And then the same way, I'm going to come here to this gray block, and I'm going to quickly design my COVID sprite. Okay, but I want to make my COVID sprite much bigger than my normal sprite. I want him to be chasing me around, and I want a big coronavirus. So watch how I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on this gray block, and I'm going to come down here to my size settings. Okay, and let's make the coronavirus, let's make him almost twice the size of my sprite. So remember, I changed my sprite to 20 by 20. So let's make the coronavirus 40 by 40 and push lock. And can you see that my canvas has changed size, or it looks a lot more pixelated? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
And we know we've been watching the news. We know the coronavirus is round. What color should we make it?
Green.
I like green. So I'm going to make green, and I'm going to use a round tool, and I'm going to make a green circle. And I want to move this green circle more into the middle. And I'm going to paint it green, so I can use this paint thing here. And I'm going to paint him in. And now I'm going to start adding some detail. I'm going to draw some little... We've all seen so many pictures of the coronavirus. So let's put some brown in there. I'm going to put some red in there, so we know it's a virus. Red.
It looks like it has 3 eyes and a mustache.
It does, eh?
Yeah.
Some blue, just a bit of blue in there. I'm just going to make my virus some more green. Has everybody seen those little feet that the virus looks like it's got?
Yeah, it's like it's little hair sticking out.
Yeah. Those little sucker feet. They almost look like sucker feet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put, and then on the end, I'm going to put little yellow, because sometimes you get pus. Ugh, yuck. I don't think your parents will allow you to come to these sessions if we start talking about pus, eh?
No.
Yuck. Anyway, I'm going to put some gross things on mine. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to develop that later. I'm just going to check how it looks. So there is my second sprite. And look what's happened. It's created the second sprite right over the first one. Do you see that? So I'm just going to move mine out there. Okay. Because you can still move your sprite, because that's the instruction. If I wanted to move the virus, just have a look. I could click on the brown one. I could say push down the control key, click on the brown one, move the brown one down, and now I must remember to change this variable, and I must say move COVID-19 with buttons. And now I could actually move the virus. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes, it does make sense.
Great. But I don't want to do that right now, so I'm just going to move it back. I wanted to move my sprite. I want to be in control.
Mine's a giant eyeball.
A giant eyeball could also work.
Yeah, but
Mine is
it's
my
really
mother with
tentacles.
I just thought we use the coronavirus, considering we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want this virus to follow me. I want it to chase me. Okay. So we are going to come to the, we could use this. If you come to your search function, I want to teach you guys how to use the search function. And we say follow. I've typed in the word follow, and we see some things there with follow. And one of the things is set my enemy to follow my sprite. So I want to click that, and I'm going to put it under start. Set my enemy to follow sprite. Whoa, it says there's a problem there because we haven't got a sprite called my enemy. We're going to say set COVID-19 to follow Gordon.
This is very interesting.
Can you see that? Set COVID-19 to follow Gordon. Now, if you go
Yeah,
back
it's
to
all
my
over
screen,
you.
if you go back to my screen, you'll see that that the virus is following me. Do you see that? I'm trying to get out from underneath it.
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything. Is that Andrino?
No, it's not me.
Andrew?
No, we can hear. Your sound is working.
Okay. Thank you. It might just be your internet, so hopefully it comes back. All right, so what we've done with code is we've asked the one variable, which is the COVID-19, to follow the other variable, which is Gordon. And you can see that it's actually it's trying to do exactly that. It's trying to do exactly that. But they're moving at the same speed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to try and increase the speed. So if you come up here to your move Gordon, the move Gordon with buttons, there's a little plus sign. Can you see that?
Yes.
Click on that plus sign, and now you will see some options to do something, a VX and a VY.
Yes.
Can you all see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Who knows what V stands for?
Vertical. Very fast.
So
very fast.
V is on the axis. They're all on axes.
They're all on axis, but what does the V stand for?
I'm not sure.
Velocity.
Variable. Variable.
Come Julian, come Christopher.
Variable.
Velocity.
Velocity. Well done, Connor. V stands for velocity. So velocity means how fast something is moving. So we're going to start changing the velocity. Let's go and make Gordon faster than the virus. So I'm going to make 200, and I'm going to make 200 in there.
So why don't you just make the virus slower?
I'm going to do that as well. Okay, now we can see that we can actually escape the virus. Okay, but I think...
I'm still a bit stuck.
Who's that?
It's dear.
Oh, my sprite disappeared. Oh, no.
I'm stuck on where it says move with buttons.
You're stuck where it says move with buttons. Okay.
The one under your variable.
All right, so have a look at my screen. If you can go back to my screen. We're going to say move with buttons, and you're going to open the little plus sign. Can you see that?
Yes.
And then there you can fill in different values for the velocity. Are you there? Do you understand that now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Now, that's still moving very fast because my fingers can't move. Well, I can almost escape, but this virus is moving too quickly.
So we need to make them slower.
That's right. Okay. So who's that talking to me now?
Yeah, me, Gianluca.
Gianluca. Can you suggest how we would make it slower?
We get the same thing we did with Gordon, to move Gordon with buttons.
Yeah.
And then we do the same thing with the plus, and then we change it to maybe 25 or 50 to slow them down.
Right. If you have a look, that would be one way to do it. I want you guys to try this weekend and see if you can do it like that. If you come down to this one here, the set COVID to follow Gordon, do you see that code?
Yes.
Can you see that there's a plus sign there?
Yeah, you can change the...
If you click on that, you see that you can change the speed of COVID. So I'm going to change him to 25.
Okay.
All right, and now look. Can you see that? Can you see the virus is moving a whole lot slower?
Very slow. I've tried that. It's just moving very, very slow. I'm just too fast.
Don't you wish that the actual real virus in the world would start moving slower?
Yeah, not like just jumping on everyone like that.
Yeah, me too. But anyway, at least we've created it in our game. In our game, we are winning. We are beating the COVID virus, or at least I am. Okay. Everybody.
I'm running away from my mom.
Is everybody still with us? We usually get cut off after 40 minutes in Zoom, but that's we seem to be carrying on.
Yeah, I saw unlimited minutes when I came into the meeting.
Yeah, sometimes random meetings it just let you get upgraded to unlimited time.
Wonderful.
So.
Okay, that's
wonderful. Okay, so this velocity of things is important. Guys, when we're dealing with the velocity, we need to understand how quickly things are going to move left or right, or how quickly things are going to fall, or how high we're going to jump, or how fast we're going to jump up. But that's all quite detailed, and we explain that more in the modules that you guys can sign up for, how to start moving things with velocity and gravity and things like that. Okay. Now here comes the exciting part, and this is where Julian, or I think Julian was trying to explain to us, how are we going to get a way to win the game or to lose the game? So the last thing I'd like to show you is if we go to sprites, if we open up sprites and we go and look for something called on sprite of kind player overlaps. You should see something in the sprites called overlaps, and drag that into your work area.
In sprites?
It's in sprites, yes.
There's actually a way to do it without pulling out that one. You can actually there's a special one inside that just says overlaps with, and then you don't have to set application in that. And then you just have to take a logic, one of the logic, the if and then things, and then you can just put it into the spot where there usually is the 0 equals 0, and put.
You're absolutely right, but that's a bit of a clever way to do it. Let's just start with a simple way for the guys that still need to see it. But I'm glad you remember that, Julian, and you've got an experiment with that. So this little block here says on sprite of kind player overlaps with another sprite of kind player. Let's keep it as player for the time being, but what's going to happen, we've only got 2 sprites at the moment, but if the one sprite overlaps another one, which means touches it, okay, we are going to have a game over. So where we find game over is in this purple one that says game. Okay, and you'll see a little block there that says game over. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Click that and drag it into your overlaps.
Okay.
And there's a little sliding thing here. Oh, I'm already losing.
I just lost.
And I can hear all of you already losing. So we're going to keep the
This
game
word is
over.
fast.
We need to make the coronavirus spawn somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yes.
Good observation. At
That
the
is a good
moment,
idea.
they are spawning in the same place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not
And if
right.
they're spawning in the same place, we've got code that says game over. So I want you to come up to sprites, and there's a place that says set my sprites to position. Can you see it?
Or it's like saying radius, like how many blocks or how many meters away or something.
That's right. So we're going to use the set my sprite to position, and we're going to put that underneath my sprite. Or you can put it underneath the Corona sprite. Depends which one you want to move. I want to move my Corona sprite somewhere else.
Me too.
Okay. And then I'm going to change the value here. Okay. I'm going to make sure that it says COVID. Okay.
Yeah, it moved.
And then I'm going to position him somewhere else in the top right-hand corner. So now that I've positioned it somewhere else, he's going to spawn somewhere else, and we can now move away from him. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's working.
Now, one thing that gets confusing is that sometimes your sprite goes off the screen. Am I right?
Yeah, if you go for 70, 70.
And it's impossible to find him again because you don't know where in space he is. So the last thing I'd want to show you is how to keep that sprite in the screen. Okay. So go to sprites, and we're going to go down to effects, and there's something there that says set my sprite to stay in screen. Do you see it? Set my sprite to stay in screen. And we're going to click that and put it on start. And then here we must turn it on. And I must remember, it says my sprite. So I want to stay in screen. Gordon must stay on screen. Now we must have a look. No matter where I go, I'm locked into the screen. I don't move off the screen. Hey, this coronavirus doesn't stand a chance, man.
Gordon, couldn't you also say camera follow sprite, and then follow your sprite?
Camera follow sprite. So I'm going to show you guys that when we start moving into a big screen or separate or a new setting. Okay. At the moment, we've just got a small screen because there are guys here that are just beginning.
Okay.
Okay. So how's everybody doing for time? Have you got moms and dads saying you need to get off and go somewhere? Is everybody good with time? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
I have finished making the game, I think.
You're finished in the game. Great. All right. So Scott's not around still. Shanae, what do you think? Do you think we should call it there? It's coming up to 50 minutes.
Good. We can check what it's going to do. I'm not sure if it's going to cut out, but we can continue, and then maybe if it does, just log back on.
Okay. Or if it does log off, guys, don't come back for 5 minutes. We'll set up another meeting, and we can continue developing it together with another invite at another day, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then the last thing I want to show you at the moment, we've set a background color to red. We've created our sprite and its player. What we should do now is we should make sure that your enemy sprite is in fact called your enemy sprite. So let's call him enemy. Okay. And here
I've
we're
already
going to...
done that.
You've already done that. And does it work?
Yes.
Okay, at the moment, look, mine's not working. So why isn't it? I've got to say, of kind, enemy. On the overlaps block, I've got to make sure I change it as well to enemy. There it works. Do people understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Gordon, we've got 9 minutes left.
9 minutes left. All right. So now we just need to create a little bit of an obstacle course or an obstruction where that we want our sprites to move around. So let's quickly see if we can create a little tile or a tile map. Come down to this little block called scene. The scene, and there is a block that says set tile map 2. Do you see it? In scene, set tile map 2. Click on that and put that under on start. Okay, then we're going to click in this gray button in the tile map, and we are going to create a platform or an area on our game. So I'm going to quickly use some of the ones from the gallery. I've got a virus chasing a person, so I'm going to use a dungeon setting. And I'm going to use some of that tile there. Okay, and I'm going to quickly put in a bit of a structure or an area. All right, just like that. So I've built a little tile, and if I come across and I say done, you will see that structure on the game. Okay, let's reset. Okay. But at the moment you can sail straight through it. The actual sprites are going straight through the structure. Do you see that? So come back to your tile map. And you need to use this one here, which is the wall function, the draw walls. Can you see this little wall block? And you're going to click on that. And you are going to click on the blocks, and you'll see it highlights it in a red pattern. Okay. And we're going to click done.
Gordon?
Hello.
I have a problem. I didn't realize I was on mute. When I changed my other sprite, to enemy, it didn't show up. It stopped showing up for some reason.
When you changed your sprite to enemy?
Yeah, so it started off not saying game over, and then when I put on set tile map, he's not on the screen. I don't know why.
So is your tile map not on the screen?
Right, no, it's there. It's just my other spot's not there now all of a sudden.
Okay, this is where I wish we could actually share screens. So we might have to find a way to share a screen, because I'm struggling to imagine what your code looks like. Are you sure you've said over here your set your enemy sprite to follow you, and your sprite name matches when you created your sprite, and your enemy matches when you created your enemy?
So set eyeball monster followed me with speed of 25.
Yes.
And then set his position, I set to 0, x0, y0.
Okay, so you've set your position. So x0 y0 might be 2 off the screen. Make it x5, y5, and see if you don't get him back on the screen.
I'm doing it now. 5. And so I got 6. I think that's gonna work. Okay.
Is he back?
I mean, it's just loading right now. It's the screen. The thing is grey. Maybe I don't know if it's loading.
Otherwise, if you just watch my screen for a second, if you go to my screen and you click on this position, the set sprite position, it actually gives you a little diagnostic. If you make it too close in the if you make it too close, you might not see your sprite. So you've got to bring it down. You've got to set it so that you'll see it on your screen.
Okay.
I think that's what you've done. So maybe just move it a little bit more onto your screen.
So like do your one's 24?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I just hope it works. I don't know why it wasn't showing on the screen all of a sudden.
Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you.
He's showing up. He's showing up, but he won't. It won't say game over. That's the problem.
Okay, so then have you when you made your tiles, did you use the little wall to make them red? You used this
I
little
made
thing
them red.
to make them red.
They are.
And when they're red, then the sprites can't go through them.
Yeah, it's
good.
I can't go through them. Just he won't say game over.
Say as you click done, there we go, game over. So, all right. Okay.
Okay, I'm just waiting for it.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Well, where it says set tile map to, when I'm trying to do my wall, the tiles aren't coming up from gallery.
The tiles aren't coming up from gallery.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
let's
if
have a
I
look.
want to put them on, it doesn't show.
Okay, you actually need to click on the little tile that you want to use.
Yeah.
And make sure the little pen is that you're using the little pen, and then you can draw your tile map.
Okay.
Tell me if it's come right.
I don't know. So the screen's okay. It's still not working. He's not. It's not going to say. It's not saying game over.
Okay. So when you make your tile map, when you make your tile map, that's not game over. It's only game over when the virus catches you. So when the two sprites touch, then it's game over. Not when it touches. Okay. We just want to make something that the sprite goes around. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll post this video onto the WhatsApp group, and you guys can re-watch it and skip forward to where I explain it. but let me just explain it again. You're going to select the tile that you want to use, okay, whichever one that is, and then you must make sure you've got the pencil, and then you're going to fill it in, and then you must use this wall function here, and you get like a rosy red highlight as you click on the tile that you want to be impassable to sprites. That rosy red color makes the tile impassable to sprites. And now you'll see when I play the game.
So how would you make the screen bigger? Can you make it bigger, or is it not possible?
You can't make the screen bigger because that's the size of your console, but you can have the sprite move into a new scene. In other words, I'm going to show you now. You're going to use camera follow sprite, but we haven't got time for that. I need you guys to come back for another lesson. Does that make sense?
Or is that not covered in the course, Gordon?
That is covered in the course, amongst other things, and we're going to start extending them further. We just want to really
to make them bigger.
Yes, to make them bigger, and to start having the camera. So the camera is going to follow your sprite onto a new setting or a new screen as we start moving around. If you have a look at my introduction game with the shark, if I get some internet.
Oh, I think I may have realized the problem. I think
Can you see the camera is now following? The camera is following my sprite. Where's it now?
I figured it out. What the problem was when it wasn't working, when it didn't say game over when it touched me. I was supposed to say other sprite of kind enemy. I forgot to say that. Yeah, so now it's working.
Well done. Good debugging there.
Yeah.
That is the best thing when you find your own mistakes and you fix your own mistakes. There's no learning like that in the world. So congratulations on that. We're going to carry on. Guys, I think we're going to we're going to put it there. We're going to post this video onto the group so you can re-watch it. And then we need to see if this kind of learning is for you. Then definitely think about coming onto the modules where we will talk you through it, and you can have us 24/7 on the LMS. The LMS stands for Learning Management System. And once you're on there, then you can watch us all day, every day until your heart's content and replay the videos. And we're going to be putting...
So just to explain that a bit further, the two offerings that we offer, we're going to be offering this live streaming like Gordon's doing, set at certain times, and you can join in for those ones. The advantage of joining a live streaming is you have Gordon there in front of you answering questions, or myself or one of the trainers that can answer the questions for you. The LMS is what Gordon has just said, a learning management system where you can go log in, and some of you have already done that, got your courses. Those people that have already done module 4 with us will be getting access to module 4 on the LMS. But as you've noticed, you can log in anytime you want, and you can go and you can learn some more and a little bit less, and you can take it from there.
Good.
All right, Gords, thanks. If you want to wrap it up.
So how do
we have a question saying, I made my wall too small. How do I change it?
You made your wall too small?
The red wall.
Okay, so remember there's that eraser tool. If you can see my screen at the moment, there's the eraser tool. You're going to go and erase what you've done, and then it will be erased.